Hi. Hello, it's Shelly Sanchez Terrell, and I am here with Andre Spang. He's right now joining me all the way from Germany. So thank you for joining us. Uh,
Hello, Shelley.
Hi. And it's so great to be able to talk and see him virtually because it's almost like we've been working for years on different projects. And I remember that the first time that I heard about you was reading that you were like the iPad teacher of Germany. And then I was like, I got to know this person because he does so many amazing things with students, including working with digital books. And I know you were responsible for tons of projects, but definitely with iBooks, your students' books are just amazing. So I wanted to talk to you about, how that came about and just thank you for sharing that story and, the recent book that I published.
Yeah, hey, Shelley, thank you that you invited me, and it's so much fun always to work together with you. Um, and actually for letting me contribute to your actually new book. And so I was creating some ebooks with my students when I was working in school. And what did I do? I was like using wikis and blogs at the first step to create the content for the books and also to have a platform for the students that they can create content together, connected over the internet, because I had different classes and different ages of students, and so they don't have to come together all the time,
Hmm.
and they can share their content at different places. And then I had some students that are producing enhanced materials for the ebooks, because like the ebook, the chance of an ebook is like you can put the text in it, and but you also can enhance it with apps or with videos or
And I
pictures.
think that's a good point to raise right now is that one of the things I really liked about the way that you use technology and integrate technology, and I know you were in the news for it quite a bit in Germany, but one of the things I really liked about your work was you took it beyond just making it a PDF, which you see a lot of times when they create digital textbooks, even publishing companies, and then it just ends up being a PDF with a lot of text and pictures like a normal textbook. But you actually got your students to make it more engaging, like where the reader learns the content by doing things. So, how did that come about? Like, how did you get them to do that? And what were some of the tools and apps you used to make that the digital
Yeah,
book more interactive?
yeah. I mean, when you look at the back, you see like keyboards in the back, and that's actually one other background that I have. Like I'm a musician, and so I was actually studying in Boston for a year in the 90s, and I was studying like film composing there, and I was also already using computers and software in those times. And what I, as a musician, was interested in is always to use technology to be creative, to make something new, and maybe to, like, as a musician, to create sound with it, but also, like, as a teacher, to create something that's above, like, the regular use. And I was, like, also seeing that this is very motivating for the students, to check out what you can do with the technology. And so, what they love is like making videos or interviews, which is pretty easy with a tablet because you have like a camera in it and a microphone. But also, what they love is to create music with the tablet, which is also possible. And what we also tried is like create little apps using web services, and then create apps that we included in the electronic books, and so you can like read the book because maybe someone is very is loving it to read the text and to work with the text, but the other student can like maybe first watch a video or listen to an interview about the topic and so on. And at the end of the chapter, we often had like a little app that you could play to control and get feedback what you learned and memorized. So that's pretty cool. And so I had different students doing different stuff.
And
And
some
one
of
more thing,
that, well, I was going to say some of those apps were even games. Like they created their own games, learning games with the
yes,
material.
and one thing that's also important, because you mentioned the PDF, is like if you create a PDF, it's like easy to use. It looks fine on every machine, but the PDF is like it's you cannot remix it. And so what I always tried is like why I use the wikis to create the content and leave it open to to other people, so that they can like take the content and remix it and publish it again. And that's also what we did with the ebooks, because we created it with an open license, so that everyone who was using the textbook and who was maybe finding out, okay, I think I have a good idea for this chapter. There's missing this little, then he could edit, or maybe if he finds a better expression for something, he just could edit the text and make it better.
And I think that's really important about digital textbooks, and why I loved your story and asked you. I was like, please, because you're so inspiring, especially when we worked on the MOOC, the ebook Evo MOOC, which is an open online course for those who don't know. But that's what I like, is that one thing that you bring into that mix is that and I know that's one of the things you're really great about, is OER, which is open education resources, and Remix. And you teach your students along the way not only to be their own digital publishers, but how to license it and make it to where other people can also take their creations and do something great with it. And introducing your students to Creative Commons and the licensing. Are there any tips for teachers who, because a lot of students now do take content that is copyright and they don't do it well. So, what were some of the ways that you were able to really help your students with that?
Yeah, actually, you have to first. It's all those licenses are a little bit complicated, so you have to get routine with it, and you know that as a teacher you get routine with everything if you do it and do it again and over again, and if you use it and just create something with it. And so that's what we did. We worked every day. We worked on the wikis, and they were open. So the first thing that I told my students, if you create something for the wiki, a text with pictures or something, you have to write a text on your own, and you also have to find pictures that are under a free license, or you have to create the pictures, which is nowadays quite easy because everyone has a smartphone. He can take a picture, or what we did is like we were drawing the pictures or stuff like graphics and stuff just on paper, and we took a picture, because my students find out to find a picture with an open license wasn't very easy. It
Yeah.
was very complicated because everything was under copyright. And then they said, "Oh, I don't like it. Everything is under copyright, And so I said, wouldn't it be great if there's a lot of pictures on the internet that you can just use? And they said, yes, sure. And so I said, yes. And if every human on Earth would like maybe upload 10 pictures, you will have pictures for everything. And so that's like the way we kind of started. And by using all those pictures and sources, even the very young students were getting experts in licenses. After a year, I had, actually that was one day, a student like from year 5, he was like
And
10
about
years.
what age is that for those who are
And
like?
11, 10, 11. I was
Wow.
having him for like 6 months or 7 months in class, and he came in and said, "Hey, Mr. Spang, did you realize Google has now an special search only for Creative Commons pictures?" And I was like, "Oh man, that's I didn't know before, you know." And then he said, "You see years like CC BY, and this is like CC same as, and so on." And I was realizing that he was like an actual license expert
Yeah.
in year five.
He could train
That
a
was a
lot
good
of
start.
teachers here, actually. He can go train
Maybe he's
my
a lawyer.
students.
No, I don't know.
He can train my college students. We're still learning about licensing.
Yeah, but I mean, the important thing is like whenever you use digital media, that you just don't teach something, but also let the students have experience with it, and be creative, and use it for collaboration, and also use it like by with critical application and critical thinking about what they do, because the internet for students is like it's their world. It's not, they don't make a difference because about their life, like in the analog world and in the digital world. It's all one, and so it's important that they have the rules that they live also in the internet, and that they see like internet is not something that that you can just use and download everything for free.
Yeah, which is important. And I think another great point that I want to bring up, because so in the book when we were talking about in the publisher and I, sometimes he has to bring me down to earth because I'm tech savvy like you, and a lot of teachers are new to this. They've never done anything like this, and so we decided to create a template. I created a Google template because it's pretty much the easiest thing. Google, you can kind of do universal, but when you were setting up to start with the digital textbook, did you find that they had, was there, did you reference like the regular textbook? I mean, were there other textbooks they looked at to kind of see how textbooks were, or did you use templates? How did the process start before they began making their own like digital textbook?
There was two ways. Actually, I was using. I mean, you at the beginning you said I was the iPad teacher of Germany. That's years ago, because
Yeah.
now and lucky there's a lot of iPad teachers in Germany, which is cool, and also like a lot of teachers using digital media in school, and but in those days. There was not much software to create books. There was actually, I think, first there was no software, and then we had one or two apps on the iPad that we started to use, and they were very rudimental in those times. You can type in text and maybe add a picture or something like that, and now you can do everything. and But I had special teams. I had like a team that was writing the text, and I had a team that was creating artwork and graffitis and stuff with another app, and I had I think two students that were using the software. So we had like teamwork in the class. Because we used one software that was actually on the Mac platform to create textbooks, and we only had two laptops, so that was our limit. And so
Wow.
I was asking in the class who wants to learn the software, and who wants to use the machine to publish our book, actually, or to get everything and put it nicely together. And then I had other students, they were saying, "Oh, I can write text, it's fun for me, and I can do this," and so on. And other ones were making videos. So we had like tasks for different groups. And the publishing group, we were like looking at textbooks, how is it made, and how do you arrange it, And the software we were using already had some easy templates in it,
Okay,
so they
great.
could use the templates, which is very important. And the apps we used on the tablets, they were not so easy because they had no templates actually. They only had chapters and pages, and it was like kind of strange at the first time. We had to look and what students do, but I don't know. I think teachers do it also. Students they didn't understand how is the software working, and then they just looked it up at YouTube. They found a tutorial on YouTube, So that's also a good thing. Today, I think you can find a tutorial on YouTube for everything. Yeah, that was the way we were working in the Middle Age.
And it's so, I mean, it's just great how much freedom and when you're describing this, how much freedom you're giving your students, like, and then even getting their ideas and playing the role. And I think that's so important because I think projects like this, it's really important when doing any of these tech missions, but in general, with tech integration, I think we got to lose some of the control and let the students figure it out. Like, that's just so great. An example, how you said, the students didn't know the software, so they just were like, okay, we're going to YouTube this and find a tutorial, but that you gave them the freedom and you weren't like, I think sometimes we want to prepare for everything, like every tech hiccup,
Yeah,
and we don't let the students just kind of guide us like how they usually do it in the real world outside of the classroom. Because just like you said, that is exactly what they do in the real world. They look up
yeah,
a
yeah. I
DIY
think
video or something.
I think the learning curve is very very big then. I think the fear that we have as a teacher is one thing is about time. If you give freedom, and they look it up, uh, it actually may need more time, but actually the learning is much better that they have at the end. So you always have to calculate how much time can I give and how much do I have to guide them through it, because if you give all the input, uh, you have given all the information, but uh, did you make sure that they also memorize the information and that they know how to use it and how to transfer it? That's the different. Um, the important part of the learning, and that needs time. And so I was finding those ways around. I mean, that was like at the beginning, and I had to find new ways because there was no actual no concept for using digital media.
Right. That's why I wrote this book and wanted to share your story because I'm like, there are teachers who have done this and they've done it well, and I think you're one of those that does that well with technology integration. That you just kind of, I guess, because of your background in working with instruments and collaboration, that you've been really good about. Um, in your tech integration, you take the skills, to make to allow where students collaborate and then they respect creative expression and things like that, even their own with licenses. And then also the part where they've got to figure out some things and problem solve on their own, like how when they come up to, because that's the thing about the tech world, and I think some of the early tech gurus or ones that where because we didn't have the internet before, but we knew like on your own. I know at least for me, I had to go on my own and learn languages and I had to learn HTML. And students don't get that so much in the classroom with tech. Like sometimes we feel like we've got to teach them it all, but in the tech world, there's so many differences that more than likely they have to go figure out that part where I don't know how to use this software. Where am I going to find the steps
Yeah.
to be able to learn this software? So I think that's really important that you brought up. Well, I don't want to take too much more of your time. So do you want to tell us any last projects or things you're doing that's really exciting? I know you're always doing something really cool.
Yeah, so I mean, actually, I learned a lot from you because you were on the internet all over the place, and you had those webinars and stuff like that in the time when I was beginning. And one big thing was like the Twitter chats, and that's actually, I think, how we met, kind of. You had
Yeah.
ad chat, and I was like participating in EdChat because, but I live in Germany in Cologne, and there was this time difference thing going on. Like your EdChat was like 8 p.m. in the US, and this was like 2 p.m. at night here in Germany, and so it was tough for me. And also, it was very fast and in English, and so I was like adapting it. I was asking you, you remember the story, and I was
Yeah.
like starting the own ad chat for Germany. Actually, it's now
EdChat.de.
4 years ago at
Yeah.
ChatD, right? And actually, we had our 184th chat yesterday on Tuesday, and it's still a great thing because it's still a great thing to connect and to learn from other teachers, and we also published a book about it
Oh,
beginning
wow.
this year. We took like a lot of topics from the chats, and we like were with other moderators were writing texts around it, and
That's
we
fantastic.
published we published a book about edge chat topics this year, and that's a cool thing. I think it was published by a big publisher in Germany
Wow.
who's actually making school books, textbooks for school, and the publisher brought it as a Creative Commons book, so
That's
you can like
fantastic.
just down. It's fantastic. Yeah,
Is it
I mean,
is it in both languages? Is it in English and German?
you can look it up in Amazon. Uh, I don't. I'm not sure if it's in English out right now, but
Okay.
it's in the Amazon bookstore in worldwide. But I think they want to bring it out also in English because the chat is actually bilingual. We
Yeah.
have the questions in German and English, and actually we have English participants, like a couple of English participants at checking the chat out. So we want to publish it definitely also in English.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. I think that's just amazing. Oh, and congratulations for that. That's such a big, because usually, when you see the Creative Commons, you don't realize like a publisher. And I think that's so great because I think the publishing is gonna, digital publishing, will be saved and also will be better if they work together with like teachers and people who actually do publish online and they work with OER and things like that. I think the
Yeah,
digital world will really improve that way. Well, thank you
yeah,
so much for sharing your knowledge with us and all these exciting, cool things. That's one of the things I really enjoy about you is that you always inspire me to do more because after you've done something really great, you just like go on and do something great with, and it's with students as well. Because I know you're an incredible composer. I know you used to do a lot of the for our course. You used to do our little jingles and stuff, and they were always so amazing. And so I really just appreciate your time and sharing so much of your creativity and mind. So thank you so much.
yeah. Thank you so much for calling, and I wish you good luck and success with your book. Stay positive and curious, but I don't have to tell that to you. And don't wait too long till you call me again.
I won't.